playing against Booker tonight. I mean, he went straight to my move the first time he caught it. Like, dude, you're not gonna beat me on my move, man. Like, you know. But I mean, it was great to see. It was absolutely great to see, and because I remember I did the same thing with MJ.
Listen to Kobe Bryant talk about Devin Booker 2 words written on a shoe. On March 23rd, 2016, Kobe Bryant played his last game in Phoenix. It was the tail end of his farewell tour, the kind of goodbye lap that happens when everyone in the building already knows the ending but still wants to be there for it. His body was done. The Lakers were the worst team in the league, and when the final buzzer sounded, instead of walking straight to the locker room like any rational 37-year-old with bad knees and a flight to catch, Kobe walked over to a 19-year-old kid who had just scored 28 points against him. He handed him his game-worn Kobe 11s. On the side of the shoe, he wrote 2 words: be legendary. It was a nice moment. A legend acknowledging a young player, passing the torch. Kind of like Shaq handing a burger to Zion. But here is what makes it different. Kobe did not write that on every pair of shoes he gave away during that final season. He gave out a lot of shoes. He did not write that on all of them. He saw something specific in this kid, something the rest of the basketball world was nowhere near ready to acknowledge. And he decided to say so in the most permanent way he had available that night. 10 years later, Devin Booker is the Phoenix Suns' all-time leading scorer, a 5-time All-Star, an Olympic gold medalist, the longest tenured Sun since Walter Davis. And he still writes those same 2 words on his shoes before every single game. Every game. To understand why that matters, you have to go back to where Booker came from, because it is not the story most people think it is. The kid nobody was waiting for, Devin Booker, was not supposed to be a star, not in the way that phrase usually gets thrown around. His father, Melvin Booker, was a legitimate college talent, Big 8 player of the year at Missouri, but he never made it stick in the NBA. He spent his career bouncing around overseas, Italy, Turkey, Russia, wherever basketball would take him. Devin grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, raised by his mother, spending summers traveling to wherever his dad happened to be playing that year. At 12 years old, he was in Milan playing one-on-one against Danilo Gallinari in his father's gym. Gallo was 18 at the time. A 12-year-old getting run by an 18-year-old future NBA player. Most kids that age go home and cry about it. Booker apparently filed it away and kept going, which honestly sounds exhausting to be around as a child. Nobody just let this kid play Uno. He got to Kentucky as a role player. Not a headliner, not the guy everyone was waiting to watch, a role player. He came off the bench his entire freshman year and won 6th Man of the Year in the SEC. He was the best reserve in one of the best conferences in college basketball, and even then, the scouts were still squinting trying to figure out what exactly he was. The Suns took him 13th overall in the 2015 draft.
The 13th pick in the 2015 NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns select Devin Booker.
And here's the thing about being the 13th pick. Nobody is waiting for you. There isn't that much hype. You are supposed to develop quietly, maybe become a solid starter in 3 or 4 years, and be grateful for the opportunity. The pressure is low because the expectations are low. Most guys in that slot are perfectly happy with that arrangement. Booker was not most guys. When Kobe actually noticed his rookie season overlapped with Kobe Bryant's final year in the league, and that is where everything started. It started because Booker played Kobe the way Kobe respected. He did not back down. He competed. He went right at him. And Kobe noticed in the way that Kobe noticed things, which was immediately and completely. After that final game in Phoenix, the shoes were just the beginning. Kobe invited Booker to train. Actual real training, not whatever the hell it is that Ben Simmons posts every preseason before going the entire year without shooting. Booker absorbed all of it with the focus of someone who understood they were sitting in front of a library that was about to close permanently, which in a pretty brutal sense it was. And then something happened that told everyone who was paying attention exactly what kind of player Devin Booker was going to be. The night Boston cheered for the enemy, March 24th, 2017. The Suns were in Boston. Their record was 22-51. They had 8 players available that night because 4 guys were hurt and the team was on the second night of a back-to-back after losing to the Nets the previous evening. The coaching staff, apparently feeling either inspired or slightly delusional, gave the team a 2-word pregame message. The same 2 words Kobe had written on those shoes. Be legendary. Booker had 19 points at halftime. Solid but not insane. Then the second half started and something just switched. The Celtics tried doubling him, tried triple teaming him. Did not matter. He was pulling up from everywhere on the court, finishing through contact at the rim, getting to the free throw line, and hitting every single one. By the fourth quarter, the crowd at TD Garden, which is not exactly famous for being warm and welcoming to opposing players, knew what they were watching. Boston fans, the kind of fans who will boo their own team if they feel like it, started cheering for a 20-year-old kid on the worst team in the Western Conference. He finished with 70 points.
I want to talk about the 70-point game that you had.
I mean, I was 20 years old.
The youngest player in NBA history to score 60, the youngest to score 70, the highest single game total in the league since Kobe Bryant put up 81 against the Raptors 11 years earlier. The Suns lost by 10, which is such a perfectly stupid outcome for a performance like that. The greatest scoring game in nearly a decade, and the box score says basketball is wild sometimes. The stats guy narrative was bullshit, and that became the story people told about Devin Booker for years. Great scorer, empty numbers, couldn't win. He dropped 59 against Utah in 2019. The Suns lost by 33. He was putting up numbers that belonged in a Hall of Fame career summary, and the team around him could not win 25 games on a good year. The takes were predictable. Stats guy, good player on a bad team, someone who fills up the box score but cannot change what actually matters. Kobe heard the exact same thing once, before Shaq arrived, before the rings, before anyone outside of Los Angeles was paying serious attention. Young Kobe Bryant was a high-scoring guard on a team going nowhere, and the critics were happy to remind him of it constantly. It took him years of grinding and eventually the right partnership to prove those people wrong. Booker was living the exact same timeline, just in a different city, with a different set of uniforms. The bubble in 2020 started to shift the conversation. The Suns went 8-0 in the restart and barely missed the playoffs. But something had changed in how the team carried itself. Something was clearly building. The finals run and what Kobe never saw by 2021, with Chris Paul running the point, Booker finally got his real shot at the biggest stage.
Look, on the spin, fires for the win! Got it!
The Suns tore through the playoffs. Booker averaged over 27 points a game. He dropped 40 twice against Milwaukee in the finals. He closed out the Lakers in the first round with 47 fucking points. Kobe's Laker, 47 points. He was 24 years old, leading his team to the NBA Finals. Kobe had died a year and a half earlier. He never got to see any of it. But those two words were still on Booker's shoes for every single game. And after the 47-point performance against Los Angeles, Booker said it himself. Kobe was with him. They lost the finals to Milwaukee in 6. And that loss opened a chapter that tested everything Kobe had taught him. Super teams, collapses, and not running away. The Suns went 64-18 the following season. Best record in the NBA. Booker made All-NBA first team. Then Dallas eliminated them in the second round in a collapse that genuinely shocked everyone who had been watching. Then the franchise decided to go all in. They traded for Kevin Durant, signed Bradley Beal, built a super team on paper that looked on paper like a championship contender, and performed in reality like a very expensive science experiment about what happens when fit and chemistry get ignored in favor of name recognition. It did not work. 2 disappointing seasons, injuries, lineup problems, moments that felt like they should work, but never quite did. By the end of 2024-25, Phoenix missed the playoffs entirely. The super team was done. Durant got traded to Houston, Beal got bought out. The roster was gutted, new coach, full reset, the whole thing. This is where a different player breaks, requests a trade, leaks frustration to reporters, stops showing up to optional workouts, blames everyone around him publicly. You have seen it happen 100 times with stars on teams that stop performing. It is not even considered shocking anymore when it happens. Booker signed an extension. He looked at a completely dismantled roster, a new coaching staff, a front office that had just spent 2 years failing in very expensive and public ways, and said, this is still my team. That is not a rational financial decision. That is a statement of identity. That is 11 years in one city, and the decision that the city is worth staying for even when the situation is objectively a mess. The part of the mentorship nobody talks about, that is the piece of the Kobe connection that never gets enough attention. Everyone talks about the footwork, the mid-range game, the scoring mechanics, and the shot fakes, and the free throw rate. That stuff is real, and it matters. But the deeper lesson was something else entirely. Kobe Bryant spent 20 years in a Lakers jersey. He never left. He demanded excellence from every single person around him, often in ways that made those people want to quit. But he never abandoned the franchise, even when the franchise put rosters around him that had no business competing for anything serious. The loyalty was not blind, it was not passive, it was a choice he made repeatedly over 2 decades. Booker is doing the same thing. 4 head coaches in 4 years, 19 win seasons and finals runs and roster teardowns and rebuild. Through all of it, same city, same number, same 2 words on the shoes. This season, nobody expected anything from Phoenix. They were projected near the bottom of the Western Conference. Lottery team early exit, thanks for watching. Instead, they are 35-26, sitting 7th in the West and fighting for a genuine playoff spot. Booker is averaging nearly 26 points and 6 assists a game. He has his 5th All-Star selection. He is running the offense, creating space for everyone everyone around him, making role players look significantly better than they looked before he was their primary playmaker. When he went down with a hip injury in February, the Suns went 2-2 without him. Not ideal, but not a collapse. When he came back, he said the hip was fine, he just needed to get his wind back, and then he went and played basketball. No press conference drama, no loaded quotes for reporters to dissect, just get back on the court. What be legendary actually means, Mamba mentality, gets talked about constantly, usually by people who mean scoring 50 in a big game or refusing to come out of a playoff game with a broken hand. That stuff is real, but it is the surface level reading. The actual substance of it, the thing Kobe tried to pass along, is simpler and harder than any of that. Show up every single day. For every single game, no matter what the roster looks like, no matter what the record says, no matter what the outside world thinks about your chances. Do not set limits on yourself. Do not look at your current situation and decide it defines your ceiling. The discipline is not something you turn on for the moments that matter. It is something you carry with you every morning before anything has happened yet. Booker once talked about a Kobe interview where Kobe explained that what separated him from most players was that most players thought 30 points was a lot. Kobe said he never set a ceiling. He would score 100 if the game allowed it. That is the interview that was playing somewhere in the back of Booker's mind when he hit 70 in Boston on a Tuesday night with 8 guys in uniform on a 22-win team.
You know, I always dreamed as a kid that, you know, it was possible to score 80 or 90 or 100. I always just like...
He grew up a Pistons fan, actually. Michigan kid. Detroit beat the Lakers in the 2004 finals, and young Devin celebrated. He was not a Kobe worshiper from the beginning. He respected him the way every basketball fan respected him, but it was not personal yet. That changed the moment they actually worked together, and Booker saw up close what the obsession looked like in practice. Not the mythology, not the documentary version of it, the actual daily reality of someone who was never satisfied and never looked for a reason to be satisfied. Booker has said he would never compare himself to Kobe Bryant. He has been clear about that consistently, and it is the right thing to say because the comparison is not really the point. The point is what he took from the relationship and what he built with it. What Kobe saw that night in Phoenix, Kobe did not give those shoes to the #1 pick. He did not walk them over to an all-star or a franchise centerpiece or a player anyone outside of Phoenix was circling on their radar. He gave them to the 13th pick on a 23-win team. A teenager who had competed hard and played the game the right way and earned a few seconds of genuine respect from the greatest competitor of his generation. And then he wrote those 2 words because he saw something. Not what the kid was yet, what he could become if he chose to. 10 years later, Devin Booker is the longest tenured Sun since Walter Davis, the franchise's all-time leading scorer, a 5-time All-Star, an Olympic gold medalist, the leader of a team that everyone counted out that is now pushing for a playoff spot. Every game, same shoes, same 2 words, same handwriting. Kobe saw it before anyone else did. Booker spent a decade making sure he was right. If you enjoyed watching this and want more stories about the moments and connections that actually shape the careers everyone talks about, stick around because there is always more to dig into. Drop a comment letting me know who you think carries that same kind of mentality in the league right now. See you in the next one.